After years of extensive renovation, the museum here at Gunnersbury Park has finally reopened, and we're here to find out more. I'm here talking to David Bowler, who is the CEO of Gunnersbury CIC. Thank you for talking to us today. So, could you tell me a little bit about your organisation?
I think the place to start really is that Gunnersbury CIC. What's a CIC? It's a community interest company. We're actually a brand new non-profit that's been created to run Gunnersbury Park and Museum. We're not a charity, but we're not a profit-making company either. We kind of exist in that social business space somewhere in between.
Fantastic. And I understand that you have opened your museum just last weekend. How was it?
We think it was really successful. We've done it in breakneck speed. We only got handed the building keys on the 1st of May and we managed to open this weekend. We had around about 1,200 people through the door over the days. We made a reasonable amount of money in our shop, always a good thing for a museum shop, and we got a most universal positive feedback, so we were really, really happy with our opening weekend.
And I understand as well that your organisation is non-profit. Could you just explain a little bit more about that?
Okay, yeah, as I said, we're not a registered charity. We are a company. We operate the park and museum as a commercial entity, but the upside for the community is that every pound we make is ploughed back into the museum and park, and it's a kind of virtuous circle. One of the things about that, I guess, is that we do commercial deals. So upcoming we have the Lovebox Music Festival, which candidly again is a commercial deal, but every pound that Lovebox pay to be in this park gets ploughed back into the maintenance and the management of the museum and the park.
Is there any area that really excites you? Is there anything that you're looking to redevelop in the future?
We've still got a number of challenges, shall we say. So we've inherited a park that has had millions of pounds worth of lottery players' money invested in it, but there's still a long way to go. So we need to do up our Japanese garden. There is still the big issue about what happens to the small mansion. Our large mansion is now a wonderful 9-gallery, 3-floor museum, but right next door we do have a small mansion that's in a bit of a dilapidated state, and so we'll continue to work with the councils, with Historic England and with our friends of Gunnersbury and our development trust to try and get some donations and fundraise for the rest of that work.
So I understand that there is going to be a big sports complex opening. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, we're really excited about that. Next year, so they've just gone on site, it will be at least a 12-month build, but next year we're going to get a very large, brand new sports centre built. We're going to get a whole series of new football, rugby and cricket pitches. We've already got some new tennis courts which will be open this summer, and we're also getting a brand new car park so that folks can come and visit that sports centre. The sports centre will be run by GLL, which is a renowned non-profit, I think they are, a sports centre provider, but we will client that. In other words, we'll be ensuring that they carry out everything they're supposed to do to the contract and make sure that we can bring great new sports activities to local people.
Great. And so the sports activities, are they open to the public, or is this kind of clubs coming in and using the grounds?
It will be a mix. Something really exciting is that the University of West London have actually put some money into that sports development, so it will become a set of sports pitches for the students. Brentford Football Club will be running their football in the community sessions with young people. Our local London International School has also contributed. They'll be using it, but there's plenty of time for all members of the public to be using it as well.
Okay, and what kind of dates are the tennis courts opening?
We hope for the tennis courts will be open for sessions this summer, and they'll be absolutely open fully by next year.
So will Park Run continue as a free activity here?
Absolutely. I mean, our park run here has over 400 runners every Saturday morning. There's a little glitch over the next couple of weeks where, with the full cooperation of Park Run, we've had to suspend the run for a couple of Saturdays because we've got a lot of contractors, machinery and plant coming into site, and we just couldn't give them a safe, fully 5k measured course. They were happy to run around the park, but they need their 5k. But after July, things back to normal, and hopefully we'll have another 400 people every Saturday morning.
Speaking to Julia Tubman now, who is the curator of the museum. Thank you for talking to us.
Okay.
So just to start with, just a little bit of historic background about Gunnersbury Park.
Okay, as you can see from the displays that we've got on here, we've got about 1,000 years worth of history for Gunnersbury as the estate as a whole. We've moved through a lot of different phases of development. So we have medieval inhabitants, we've had different mansions built on site. The two mansions that we've currently got date between about 1802 and 1806. Interestingly, it's probably the only example you've got of two mansions 29 metres apart from each other. So probably the only example in Britain. The museum opened in, this is Gunnersbury Park House, in 1929. And the first curator was a Miss Susan Smee, who was a bit of a trailblazer. She was the first female mayor for Ealing and the first female justice of the peace. And she gave up her position in 1939 at the age of 89. So a really interesting, fantastic woman. We've got quite a varied collection of about 50,000 objects. We've got a fantastic archaeology archive, including about 2,000 lithic artefacts, so that's stone implements. We've got a paper archive, letters, documents, photographs. We've got a very large and significant textile and costume collection, and a fantastic toys and games, as well as obviously a huge social history and industrial history collection.
So when you were renovating the grounds and this big museum as well, were there any new discoveries that were made?
With lots of rediscoveries. For instance, we came across some short vaulted ceilings just underneath the terrace, and we rediscovered what was the bathhouse, and that would have been used by the family. That's underneath the current site of the cafe. So every time you come across a rediscovery like this in a huge transformation project, you have Museum of London archaeologists come on site to actually fully document that. So we've got that for prosperity.
And what are the programme of activities that are coming up in the next couple of months here?
Well, we really want to set ourselves as a cultural hub for the community. So we'll have about 3 exhibitions a year at Gunnersbury. The first one will be open to the public on the 3rd of July, and that's showcasing the work of Gertrude Hermes, who's a very naturalistic artist who worked with wood and different kind of lino cuttings. But we also have a packed programme wonderfully developed by our public programmes officer, and we have regular bat walks, regular heritage tours of the landscape, also tree walks. We do bug safari for little children, which has proven massively popular. But we do wood carving workshops here as part of the Gertrude Hermes season as itself, and also a fantastically popular printmaking workshop. But we do have a What's On guide. So these are well worth picking up, but this is all available on our website as well.
I actually have memories of when I was a child. I was there making kites and things. Do you have any creative activities that are still happening?
Yes, so this weekend we actually were exhibiting artworks from our local communities. We've been running a few art workshops where we asked people to paint pictures of buildings they liked or buildings that they imagined that would be the perfect building, and that was very popular.
Were there any nasty surprises when you were renovating?
Nothing outside of the bounds of norm, I think, for such a large and complex building. So as I said, this building was built between 1802 and finished 1806, but there were extensive refurbishments when the Rothschilds purchased the property in 1835, so they had the architect Sidney Smirke get on board, and he did things like move the staircase and change the entrance hall. We probably had a little bit more asbestos than we'd anticipated, but as I said, nothing outside of the bounds of normal. There's only so much survey work you can do before you just have to open up the floors and the walls and see what you've got, really.
And any ghosts?
Possibly one. One or two, perhaps. There's some strange lighting going on at the moment, flickering and whatnot.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Does anybody stay after dark in the museum?
Oh, I've stayed after dark by myself lots of times. I'm still waiting.